Hello everyone, my name is Tomko, and today I'm showing you how to build a hidden door you can quite literally roast marshmallows over. I'm talking about the fireplace door. But just before we start, I want to say a massive thank you for 20,000 subscribers. I cannot believe how well this channel is doing, and I can only thank you guys for that, so thank you so much. Alright, so welcome to my humble abode. Please just ignore the fact I only have one singular wall. I think the majority of the budget went towards this 8-meter long sofa, and to be honest with you, I think that might have been a mistake. But what makes this fireplace a tad bit special is that when we put dust over here, it quite literally collapses into the ground. You have to admit, that thing is awesome, especially if you use blue fire. Then it looks like something straight out of Harry Potter. But now the door's open, we can walk on through and close it behind us, and I promise you the closing animation is even cooler than the opening. But the best part is not this door's awesome looks, it's the redstone, because this thing is actually pretty simple. And taking a look at it, this is everything to it. Yes, I know it looks a bit like a spider web, but it fits really nicely in between two walls, and since the majority of it is hidden away under the floor, it makes it really easy to build wherever you want it. So with all that out of the way, let me show you how to build it. Alright, so to build it, you're going to have to get yourself an 8 blocks long by 3 blocks wide by 8 blocks tall area. And just so you know, these coal blocks, your actual lit fireplace will be directly on top of those. So your fire will be directly on top of these coal blocks. I should probably get off and stop cooking myself. And just so you know, the coal blocks are situated directly in the center 2 blocks, so this one, and they are 3 blocks in the air. So hopefully you can use this to line up your door correctly so you don't build it in the wrong place, as nobody wants that, do they? And then to build it, this is everything you're going to need. Yes, you do have to get both 2 droppers and 2 dispensers. Make sure you get 2 of each, it's important. The 2 dirt blocks can be replaced with any random item in the game. Dirt's probably just the cheapest. And then you can replace the coal blocks with any blocks that lets fire last forever. For example, you have netherrack, soul soil, soul sand, but they're just to name a few off the top of my head. There's probably way more out there. And then yes, you do need 2 flint and steels. But just be aware that they may eventually run out of durability, so be prepared if you have to replace them at some point. And one last very important thing, you will have to get yourself some actual building blocks. But just make sure if you have fire spread turned on, build it out of something that cannot be burnt down, like cobblestone or just any stone variant. But once you got everything and make sure you won't burn it all down, we can start. So to start off, if you haven't already, I suggest you get your coal blocks in place. We will be using these as a guide, so I suggest you get them in right now so then we can build it around it later. Trust me, it'll make it way easier if you've already got those blocks in place. But then underneath your 2 coal blocks, you're going to place 2 sticky pistons facing upwards. So one here, and one to the right of it, just like so. Then get out some redstone dust. Place dust in front of both of these sticky pistons, so one here, and one here. Come up by blocking either side, so a block here. Place more dust on top of both of those. Jump up until the blocks. Place a sticky piston on top of this redstone dust, also facing upwards, so jump, place it like so, and once more, place another one to the right of it, so if we were to drop down, it looks like this, so far. And then just for you to know, any one of these 4 redstone dust, so this one, or this one, they can be your input blocks, so you can whack your lever here, here, or here, and all of those will power your door. I think 4 levers is a little bit excessive, so just stick with 1, please. You then want to get out some torches, repeaters, dust, blocks, droppers, and hoppers. And what you want to do, you want to come to the right hand side, place a 1 to delay repeater coming away from that block, so just leave it as it is. Block in front of the repeater, then come round to the back, crouch, place a block on top of the repeater, redstone torch on the side of that block, just below it, it should turn on, then a repeater coming away from this dust, going into that piston, just like so. Then place a dropper coming away from this block so the face of the dropper is pointing towards the back. So it should look like this. Crouch and place a hopper going into that dropper. So if we were to dig a hole, the tail of that hopper, or whatever you want to call it, is going directly into the dropper. That's actually very important. Then get out a comparator and your dirt blocks and to whack a random item into this dropper. It can be any item in the game. I'm just going to throw away some dirt. Then place a comparator coming away from this hopper with a solid block in front of the comparator. So far, it should look something like this. And then you want to repeat what we did over here, but on the opposite side. So starting off by placing a repeater coming away from the block, solid block, crouch, place a block on top of the repeater, torch on the side of it, just on the floor, repeater going into that sticky piston, dropper going towards the back side, crouch, place a hopper going into the dropper, so the tail is going into the dropper, random item thrown into the dropper, comparator coming away from the hopper, block in front of the comparator, so far, it looks like this if you were to look at it from the back. Then get out your pistons, observers and dispensers this time, so you should have no droppers left. Come around to these middle 2 blocks, place 2 regular pistons, both of which should be facing upwards, so one here, one to the right of it. Place 2 observers, both of which facing upwards on top of these, so one here, on here. Just so you know, the little red dot, that's at the top of the observer, so both of these should be on show. Then place a dispenser on top of these going into your coal block, so one on this side, jump round to the other side, and place one on this side. So if we were to remove these coal blocks, both of their faces are into the wall. But for now, we'll whack them back in place. And then whilst we're here, you want to put your flinter stills into one of these dispensers. So one on this side, and one on this side. Then jump back down to the front of your build. You want to get out some half slabs, and place slabs on top of both of these sticky pistons at the front. Bear in mind this will be part of your decoration, so try and make it look nice. Then make your way around to the back again. Come around to the right hand side where this torch is located. Place a solid block on top of this torch, a slab in front of the torch, and whack a piece of dust on top of that slab. Bear in mind it should turn on. Then to the right of this dust, place a block. So as you can see, the block is like a block to the right and block up from the slab. Jump up. Place a torch on top of the block you just placed. Block on top of that torch. Torch on top of the block. You then have to fly up or scaffold up depending on what game mode you're in. Place a block on top of this torch. Torch to the right of this block. Block on top of the torch. Torch to the right of this torch. Then on this block you want to place a repeater, and this time set that to 4 tick. So repeater here. 1, 2, 3, 4 tick delay. Just like so. Then do what we did over here, but on this side instead. So drop down. Block on top of the torch. Slab in front of the torch. Just on top of that slab. Block to the left. Come round. Torch on top of that block. Block on top of the torch. Torch on top of the block. Fly up or scaffold up. Block on top of that torch. Block to the left of that block. Block on top of the torch. Block to the left of that torch. Repeater here, set that to 4 ticks. That was a lot of repetitive talking. I apologise if you're fed up of me saying the word torch. But believe it or not, that's all the torches placed. But then whilst we're at the top, you're going to place 4 temporary blocks on top of these repeaters. So crouch and place 4 here, just like so. Then drop down to the floor and look up, and on top of these blocks, well no, on the bottom of these blocks, place regular pistons facing downwards. So one here, and one on the other side. You can then remove the temporary blocks we just placed up here, as they are no longer needed. Then whip out some sticky pistons again. You're going to place 2 on the left hand side above this redstone dust, so one here. Nope. One like that. Jump up again. Place 1 on top of it. Mirror this on the opposite side, so one here. And 1 on top of that. You then want to get some decorational blocks out, but for me, I will just use bricks. You're going to place 3 rows of bricks on top of these dispensers, so one here. One here. Jump and place 1 more on top of those, and believe it or not, that is actually everything done. So when we hit the lever, it all closes. Well, I guess it was already closed, but the fire turns on. That's a good sign. Then when we flick it again, it all opens. Perfect. 1 more just for fun. It's so cool to watch. So now all you have to do is to decorate it. So I'm assuming your fireplace will be going here. So I like to build walls on either side. And then I like to place stairs up here. Inside stairs connecting those 2 stairs together. And on the inside as well. Then here's where my chimney's going to go. And just like that, you have yourself your fireplace built. And then your floor will be going down here. And of course your wall will be going here. So the fireplace sticks out by 1 block, making it all look nice and fancy. Alright, so I have very briefly decorated it. Hopefully you put more time and effort into it than I have. And I've also moved my lever simply by attaching it to a new redstone line, going straight into one of the input blocks that I talked about earlier. Now if you wanted to connect this thing to buttons on either side, there'll be a video in the description that will help you with that. And also if you wanted to add a hidden input into this like the one in the intro, there'll be another video in the description which I guarantee you'll find helpful. But now we can actually test it out. So with a flick of a lever, our door opens, awesome, and what's more, our door closes. It is so cool to watch. But anyways, that is all the build done. If you have any questions, don't be shy to drop them in the comment section down below, or join the Discord server. That is by far the best place to contact me. But anyways, that is all for me, and I'll see you all later. I hope you have lots of fun with the new awesome and hidden fireplace door. Bye!